channel. My name's Alan English and I'm in the Pacific Northwest. I'm going to build a timber framed cabin this year. I plan to build a small cabin. Next year I'm going to do an addition to it. So what I have is 40 acres here with a creek. The creek is seasonal. Came up here and looked at it last September when I decided to retire and move early. I retired at 58. With this COVID going on and stuff and lack of income, it just didn't make sense to spend my days working. Right now I'm starting to cut down some of the standing dead trees. Any of the good ones I'll use for building. And I've got a few of them here. I don't know if it's beetle kill or what it is. The property does have a creek running through the lower corner of it to my right here. And one of the things I want to talk about is people I've watched for the last 3 years that have helped motivate me to do this. Is I've watched My Self-Reliance with Sean James. I've watched On Beaver Creek with Fred Beal, and The Wonderland Escape, and that's with Peter. All those guys helped motivate me to where I'm at today. Peter and Sean both do log cabins, where Fred did the timber frame cabin. And the nice thing about Fred's deal was I was able to get him to send me the instructions to build a template for a timber frame cabin. So he sends you, so if I do like a 6x12 beam, he sends you the instructions to make a template for each end. So all you have to do is take your chainsaw, it's got a guide on it, and you can quickly cut those. So you'll see me using the templates I made. I may talk to him about doing another template later because I plan on doing that smokehouse I was talking about. And I'd like to still keep it looking like a timber frame deal. So I may have him set me up so I can make a template for cutting 4x8s. And that way I have a smaller beam for that because it's just a tiny building. So I've got 40 acres here. Up to my left is where I'm going to build, probably about 350, 400 yards away. There's a clearing. And behind me you can see there was a cabin at one time. There's actually 3 areas where there was stuff built on this property. To my right is a creek. Down by the creek, about 15 to 20 feet above it, is a spring that I may develop if it is a year-round spring. I don't know if it is. Right now, that's where I'm getting my drinking waters from the spring, which is down the embankment from where I'm standing, probably about 15 feet below me. So I think it's good clean water. It looks good and clear. I'll show that to you in a bit. I am staying in a travel trailer. I do have a tractor to help me. And I think at this point, I'll take you around and show you what I have. And well, the trees I'm going to work with, I thought I'd tell you about that. It looks like there's mostly pine here. There are some tamarack trees too. And I think there's some ash trees down by the creek. I'm not certain what those are because there's no leaves on them, so I can't really tell. The tamarack, there's some standing dead tamaracks around here. So I've already cut a couple of them down. I'm going to keep cutting the dead ones first and see which ones I can use. And I'll use those to build with if they're good quality still. I think they're beetle kill. I can't really tell. There's not a whole bunch of dead ones on the property, but it's heavily treed here except for one little area that's clear. That's where I want to build so I can get solar and put that in later. So at this moment, I'm going to take you down to the creek, show you that, then I'll take you up and I'll show you where I plan on building and give you a look at the view. And then future videos, I'll show you the work I'm doing. I'll film it. So this is the little creek right here. that runs through the corner of my property down at the bottom, the lowest point of my property. And just above me here is where the spring is that I may use. Where the camera is actually sitting is another spring. You can see muck running down here. So on this side of the bank up here, there's also water running through the mountain. So I'll take you up to the spring now. All right, so we're at the spring here. I thought I'd show you this. This is coming out of the mountain. The water's got a lot of reflection on it, but it's actually very clear. If you look in here, let's see if I can get near it. So I got a pretty good drip coming down out of the hill here and going down into here. And yeah, I wish I could give you a better look at that, but there's just too much reflection. Yeah, no matter what I do. So I may develop that later. This is where I'm getting my drinking water. This is running down into the creek. All right, let's take a walk on up, and I'll take you up to the other part. Okay, so we're up at the point where I'm going to build a road. I've already started into my property so I can get up there and build and run my tractor, bring logs up there, build my mill up there, and I'll take you up there. Let's take a walk. Yeah, that's a bit of a walk uphill. Okay, a little bit winded. I've been packing around some papers with me. I wanted to show you a couple things. So we're at the spot that I'd like to build. First of all, I'll give you an idea what the view looks like here. Grab this camera, and we'll start off trying to look at the horizon over here to see what happens. So there's the start of the mountains there. If I had more of a zoom, you could see the green grass growing between the trees and stuff. Is really pretty. And this is going over to the other side of my property from the road, facing uphill. This is going to the left. So you got a nice view of the mountain over here. And you can see right here, there's that pine tree that's going to have to come out so I can continue going on through the property. I originally contemplating building down in here, but if we turn around here to the right, let's rotate completely around, and as you look up, you can see a lot of openings and stuff back there. That's all my property back there. So somewhere up there, probably a good 75 to 100 yards up, I plan to build. And the road, if I continue making this road through here, it's going to go ahead and, let's see if I can get this set up here. No, I don't want to do that. There. If I continue making this road on through there, it'll wrap around and start going uphill a little more, where I can actually put the mill up here amongst trees, kind of protect it until I can build a roof over it, and be able to drag wood over to where I'm going to build. I believe I can do that because it'll wrap around and go up this way is what it's going to do. So that being said, I wanted to talk about a few things. First of all, there were some people that I watched on the YouTube that were very motivational to me. One of them that I really enjoyed watching was Sean James, My Self-Reliance. He has 2 channels, and he builds log cabins, and he's built a timber frame tool shed, I guess you'd call it. And so he's done a lot of cool things. He's built a greenhouse, and he's right now trying to be as self-reliant as possible. He's starting to do his own gardening, plant his fruit trees and stuff like that. So a lot of good stuff on his channel. From the Woodland Escape, Peter, he also is a log cabin builder. He built his log cabin, and he is more of the 1700s type of guy. He wears the clothes of the 1700s. He carries around a musket. He hunts with his musket. But his channel is very neat. I like it. He made his own nails for nailing his floor and other things that he did on his cabin. He did other iron things. He made a sign. He made a whole bunch of stuff. He's very informative too. Super nice guy. And then Fred Beal on Beaver Creek. He did timber frame cabins. Now, Fred Beal also sells the plans to make a template to cut beams into timbers. So you're going to cut your ends. Let's say you can make the template for each end of your log. So if it's a 6x12, which is what I'm using, I made a wooden template that goes on each end, and he sends you the plans to do that. I think they're something like 30 bucks. I don't know exactly how much they are. I forget, because I bought the plans for the templates and I bought the plans for a cabin. Now, I'm not going to build the cabin on the plans because I decided to go a different route totally. I mean, just within the last week. Just the other day, which is on this paperwork, I made my own little diagram. I'll try and put my hand in between everything. So, real close here. At the top, you'll see that's going to be a bedroom. And in between the bedroom and the main building is going to be a breezeway, an open breezeway that's going to become a cook station for outdoors. And then down below is going to be the cabin. And I decided to go modular to keep them very small, and that'll be a little more manageable to build. Then I also took and made this, and this is what came with Fred Beal's plans, was a little template or a drawing like this. And what I did was I just changed the dimensions and the counts of timbers that I need. Now, I made some notes on here too, because some of the timbers don't have to be the full length, because I'm going to be either putting windows in, doors in, stuff like that, and that'll make it easier if I just figure out how many long timbers I need, get those done, any of the short ones, see what material I have left from the trees I've cut down, and try to utilize that so I'm not taking out too many trees. And the first trees I'm taking out are going to be trees that they're standing dead trees. So I've already taken 2 of those out. I'll be taking and doing videos of me cutting down trees, debarking trees, milling my actual lumber. I know a lot of people don't want to spend that kind of money, but I'm by myself, and I feel it'll be a lot easier for me, especially in an open area like this, to have a tractor, number one, to go through the land, pull my logs. I can work my land with a tractor. I thought of other vehicles like Sean James uses, UTV I think he uses, and a snowmobile. Snowmobile I definitely wouldn't mind getting, because we get a lot of snow up here, about 3 feet every winter it sounds like. The UTV would have been nice to have, a little more stable than a tractor, but for the money, this tractor was $21,000, and it's a Bobcat CT 2025, so it's only 25 horse, but I don't need a whole lot of horsepower, so it's considered a compact tractor, but it's still pretty full-sized. So it'll do the job for me, and for the money, I couldn't find a used John Deere for that, or any other tractors for that matter, and it's four-wheel drive. So I'm pleased with it. So far it's doing the job. It's been years since I've been on a tractor, so I still got to learn a lot. This driveway I got to widen. This right now is pretty much just the width of that tractor, but I want to make it wide enough to get my truck up here if I want. So the other thing is, like I said, I bought a mill. I got a Norwood mill, HD 36 V2. The mill I bought extensions for, 4-foot extensions, and I think I can cut up to 29-foot logs into beams, which is more length than I need. But at the time I was going to go bigger, and I decided now I'm going to go smaller. So it is what it is. I'll get this thing assembled up here somewhere once I get things up to where I can level a spot for that too. And I'll level a pad for where I'm going to build, and you'll see all that. So along with the cabin, on the front of that I'm going to put a deck. On the bedroom on the back side, I'm going to put a deck on the back side of it. I'm going to put a composting toilet in, just like I have in my travel trailer. I think they're called Sea Head is the one I bought, and you're looking around $570, I think, at the time I bought it anyway, for a composting toilet. You could make your own. I actually bought on eBay the toilet underneath part, a toilet seat, and I was planning to put an outhouse in. And now I could still, in the cabin, I could use those pieces and I could make a composting toilet. And I'll make a composting bin for that stuff, but I'm gonna make a separate composting bin for like food waste and stuff like that, that I can use in my garden. The human waste, I'm gonna compost that after a couple of years. There'll be two bins side by side. So after 2 years, I'll start a new bin a year in, I guess, and then the following year that other bin can get emptied at the end of the following year, so that I can switch back and forth. And they don't have to be very big since it's just me, and that way I can take that stuff, it'll be soil by that time, and I can put it around the forest trees. I just don't, I mean, I suppose you could safely use it in your garden. I just don't feel like doing that. So that's pretty much the extent of up here, what I'm going to do. So I think from here, I'm going to go back down, and I'm going to show you that log cabin. Maybe some people will be interested in seeing this thing, so I'll take you to that next. Okay, we're at the cabin. I'll take you a little walk around. I'll pick up the camera here and move you around. So they did traditional type cuts as well as some other ones I didn't expect to see. So you can see some of the cuts here. I'm going to say this cabin was around 20 feet inside in length, with about a 6-foot eave over here. I don't know if you can see in there, but that goes back about 6 feet before you see it. Get back over here, show you some of the cuts of this wall. I don't know if that was part of the wall it just fell off of. It's interesting because there's more wall over here, so it's like a little section of wall. I don't know what the dealio is there. So over here they had another section. Must have been built at a much later date. They may have had a mill at that point. Pretty cool though. Some of the logs are obviously missing that were here. Sure seems like there should be a lot more logs here. Take you up through here real quick. See if we have enough to go. We'll call her good. One more spot right here. There's a corner you can kind of see. And this was also a building of some sort. And it goes into a depression there. So, on a final note, I just wanted to say thank you for watching. I appreciate it.